Hello guys, welcome back to the 6th episode of this lovely thing. Um, there's a lot to go over, and this, first off, do want to check a little bit of my messages for this one because this does relate to the fight between the Kingdom of Quebec and the Freemasons Lodge of America and all that. This is what it kind of hinges on. But let me look at the newspaper first and look at those messages. Yeah. Why? Why what? Why not? Chilling in. Must hit me. Like, I know you're gonna be saying the smoking caliber and all that. I appreciate you sponsoring me like this, but you ain't gotta do it if you don't want to. I mean, to me, it kind of feels like it's a little bit forced. You know, it's probably not, but anyway, into this lovely beef. So, apparently, before I learned the Freemasons Lodge of America, Sandy's man, he is the leader of the alliance and all that, so I know I got a dependable ally here. So, I was asked if I should attack Brazil, which I only realized a day later, that was the King of Quebec. And apparently he's going to be kicked from the alliance for sheer disrespect and all that. I wanted to see what he was saying, the shit talking, so I could go over it with y'all. And until that, he's going to more than likely end up kicked, just utter disrespect. I didn't have to let him in type deal, and he wants to be a sick. Basically, I asked nicely, it's like, you want Toronto that bad, fine, reward for it. If he loses to me, he's kicked. If he beats me, he can stay in clan period, so just stay out of it. It's just kind of dick me on his part. I assume like Smoke said we were fighting computers first and do wars, and he saw us basically heading there, so it's all good. We can keep it between me and him. Okay, so yesterday I was I was thinking, do I really want to join in? I know where his troops are at and all that, but the thing is that my ally is not crippled. Like, if my ally, hopefully leader Sandy's man, if you do see this, don't go too harsh on me. Oh, you did go for level 3 infantry, nice. So you did research that, but you're not upgrading your medium max and all that. Like, I'm gonna hammer some things out there and all that. He's not upgrading his medium max. They're still level 1, even though he can go to level 3. He is upgrading his infantry and all that, which, good for him. He also doesn't really have any navy, despite being what I consider a partial navy nation. Like, at least go for subs for defense and all that. But then again, I could here cherry pick and all that, yada yada. I ain't gonna do that. I'm just gonna stop now. The Kingdom of Quebec. I feel like Freemasons should have took advantage of my right away. Use that to get to here, which I don't know if he did. He probably did, but he probably went from Montreal first, and then push into Quebec. But essentially, it looks like Freemasons is going to barely take Montreal and all that. And it looks like the King of Quebec is suffering and all that. He is making a light tank, though, which will definitely help in defense. He also over here does have an anti-mech gun. The thing is that since I'm maintaining a neutral stance, even from an ally, I'm not going to give him any information that could help him. So, Sandy's man, I just want to apologize in advance for what I did in the past. That's when you're going to be seeing this. I just want to remain neutral, and I feel like if I engaged in any war with any of my fellow alliance members, it would feel unfair because I already know what they have or all their troops are at, and it wasn't through spies. Like, I came in here mostly just wanting to spectate the match and comment on y'all's strategies. It happens. So let's see, is there any more coalitions up? Nope. It looks like Cuba lost his ally Venezuela. Interesting, let's go check that out then. So Venezuela, I guess, went AFK or just completely left him. And because of that, Venezuela is now actually wrapping up Grand Colombia. And it looks like, yeah, he's just wrapping it up. And Mexico did take Panama City. Interesting. So as we can see here, Cuba is trying to maintain control of Florida, and he is actually doing a good job of it. So now Sandy's man will be cornered on 3 different sides now. Cuba, Quebec, Mexico. Ooh, okay. Okay, Mexico. Okay, Smoking Caliber, we see you. Pulling out some crazy moves out here. But before I continue further, let me just keep building up my personal defenses and all that. Alright, throw this in here. But yeah, I am curious of the trash talk, though, that was lipped at the leader, though. And sadly, he does not want to tell me or show me what it is, just generalize, okay, it's shit talk, and that's that. So for one, there's always one Iron Order player every single match that trash talks. You know what's funny? The more you try, I notice the more that people trash talk in this game, the more bad they are at it, which is why I don't do it. I learned my lesson early on to not do that through conflict. Unless you're like already winning, and it's usually in response. But as you can see, the Kingdom of Quebec is still pushing through Canada, taking land, despite being in a losing war with the Freemasons. So we can see how this will develop later on. I mean, I have my hopes that Freemasons will win just because he's an ally, but as I said, neutral stance, he doesn't want me to intervene, that's his fight. Now, Texas. So Mexico's taken this little area, as we can see here, with upgrade units and all that. We can respect that. And for Texas, it looks like he's laying the groundwork to push into the Great Sioux Union with support from Mexico, and maybe even the Great Lake Republic. So as we can see here, they're doing their thing. Lots of attacks here and all that. And as we can see, Texas does love stacking tanks with infantry, which isn't a bad strategy, but sadly he is not upgrading his units and he's not making a lot, so there's a little bit worried that he may not be able to hold up to his allies' expectations in the future. Now, he is making tanks at New Orleans and all that, which is great, but that is a disadvantage as that is not faster since it's occupied territory. Now, if we come over here to Dutch America, we can see that he's a little bit spread out. He's pushing up north, so his strat's really just take the north, from what I can tell. And then we hope that works out with him. Now, once he's done taking this north, he'll have Boxing Cascadia. He can attack from any side if he wants to. And all that. Sorry for that coughing. And all that. Give me a second here. So as I was saying, Dutch America is pushing up. He is taking land from Alberta Union. That's good for him. Now Cascadia. The underdog could be, oh my. Ooh, okay. So as you can see, Dutch America is, or Dutz, is bringing back his units to Medford as he is a little bit worried about being pushed in. Now he's still not making a lot of troops, admittedly, but the underdog himself has dealt a lethal blow to Cascadia. Now, this means that this is Nueva New Mexico. Yeah, he's maybe messed up, but currently he has more troops in Cascadia, and Cascadia's assault failed. Now, as we can see, he is going for a very, very risky move that will, and I repeat, will pay off. He's going to take Seattle, which is the capital of Cascadia. Now, this is going to be a really good fight. As you can see, not only is it warming up, the underdog is actually beating the veteran, which is definitely interesting considering that this guy down here, I don't think has a lot of experience in this game. Oh no, he does. He does have quite a bit of experience, but is it enough to overthrow Cascadia's reign across all of us? We'll see. So far, we can look at the rankings here. So, in first place is Hades, New Star, and Vendor Rising. Next up is Bannock, which is Dutch America. I believe that's what they call them. And then us, USA. Now, if we look at all of them, Cascadia's in 4th, Venezuela's in 5th, Kingdom of Quebec is in 6th, the United Front is in 7th. Hispanic of Mexico did go down, but he will plot a victory against Cascadia, I believe, here. Because at the end of the day, Cascadia is going to be really, really crippled. Now, see, Mexico also does have submarines and all that, and he has relayed some information to me, and that he always upgrades his submarines when he starts making navy bases. Smart move, in my opinion. Does also some water defense. Now, he's making artillery, infantry as always, but this means that I think it's hard to tell. We may just figure out who's knocked out of the match tomorrow. Right now it's looking like Hispanic Nova Mexico's knocked out of the match, but we do know that Cascadia is more likely to fall due to Nueva Mexico's overwhelming troop advantage. And another thing to keep in mind is that unlike his opponent, Nueva Mexico is upgrading his infantry, which also gives him another big advantage in all that in this battle. Now, Cuba. He may be taking Florida, but the only thing he ain't taking is navy bases. He is building a railroad system, as we can see, which isn't something we've commonly seen so far, so this is good to see. But sadly, as my own personal advice, my own 2 cents, you should always build up navy if you're Cuba, because that's literally your lifeline. So yeah, as we can see here, everyone's doing their own thing. Venezuela's building up secret weapons labs and making his tanks and infantry, which looks like it's going to be a militia light tank strategy. Mexico looks like he's preparing to go to war. A little bit of Venezuela. Now I say that because he's not pulling back his units, but what he is doing is ensuring he has control of the canal, from what I can tell. Now with the scout mech and artillery here, he can see any units are passing through this. Now, if we come up here and all that, we can look at this right here. Well, there's nothing to really look at, but Freemason's Lodge does have a little bit of a hold in the Kingdom of Quebec. Now, we went over a lot of things. The Kingdom of Quebec looks like he wanted to go for an air strategy, but did not pull it off in time, sadly for him. But that seems to be about all we're going to cover. But from what we can tell, this battle's warming up. Cascadia and Nueva New Mexico could be knocked out of this battle next. And something that was told is that we saw all of you and how you attacked animations where the peace period was up. Gotta love bugs and all that. It is what it is. But I think I figured it out, where you can attack the big nations that can control by players. You just can't attack these other ones like Tennessee during that period. Anyway, guys, that wrap up this alliance match. Well, not this match, but my personal spectating for now. Hope I can catch you on the next one tomorrow. And until then, good luck fighting out there, members.